What's up, friends? My name's Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti. Today we're going to be unboxing the February 2022 FPV crates. Look, they're both huge. Usually the sub 250 is a smaller box. That's what she said. But this month, they're both big boxes. I don't know which one is which. Let's just dig in. This is my full-time job. If you want to support me on this wild and woolly FPV adventure, head on over to CiottiFPV.com, and there's a whole bunch of ways you can help me keep on going here. This is the sub 250 box. We're going to look at this one second because we're going to assemble the main item that's in that box. So let's dig into the 5-inch box here. And all right, cool. So we've got a sticker sheet. Oh, that's pretty slick. Bunch of snow and winter related stickers. Very cool. Optimal temperature. Like it. Then we've got something from Axis Flying. These are, oh, this is the TPU. I guess there's a frame in here. I think this is the TPU for the frame that's in here. Some orange arm guards and a GoPro, you know, little mount thing. The card that spoils the surprises, of course, is on top. Oh, very cool. 3 sets of Axis 4943.5 propellers. My 5-inch rigs are actually pretty light, 605 grams all up. And I've been actually looking at going down to 4.9-inch props since I don't need all of that extra prop surface area. So those will be really cool. I'm gonna review those for sure. Little baggie with a couple of what appear to be 30 by 30 to 20 by 20 adapters. That's pretty slick. There's a shirt. Let's take a look. And what do we got? Ooh, that's a good one. That's a cool graphic there. Little TBS logo. And then, what should we call this guy? Chat, what's this guy's name? You guys come up with a name for him. I'll wear the shirt, you come up with a name. That's a good shirt, I dig that one. Alright, hit the bottom of the box. There is a frame in here. 5-inch freestyle frame called the Manta. Okay. Alright. Let's take a quick look in here. And 5-inch freestyle frame is pretty rad in a subscription box. Really nice Axis battery strap here. And ooh, instructions. Man, instructions are pretty rare with frames. These are well done instructions too. Okay, look at that. Oh. There we go. A little bit of that. This light is a little bit cool. There we go. Look at that, man. Look at that. That is incredibly helpful. I'm digging that. All right, here. I'll just bring everything over here, and you guys can watch as I rummage through this. Some imitation grip here for the battery pack. Yo, look at this. Wow. The whoever cut this did a heck of a job. Look at all this going on here. This is milled out with the Axis logo. We've got a bunch of press nuts in here. Cool looking design, bunch of little honeycombs. So this would be the bottom plate. Here's the top plate here. And oh my god, look at this gorgeous aluminum hardware in here. Oh, okay. So this is an aluminum bottom plate that's going to go under there, and the arms are going to really lock in here. This is pretty slick. I've seen Pyrodrone doing the aluminum thing on their floss. I think it is, but I haven't seen it elsewhere. This is pretty slick. And then it looks like the camera plates are also aluminum. Okay. And then these are really, really nice looking. These standoffs here. My guess is that these are roughly 25, and maybe those are 20, but I'm sure it says in the instructions here. Yeah, 25 and 20. 2 20s, 4 25s. And then we've got some arms here. Man, this carbon is cool looking. It's almost like holographic in this weird way. And there's another big... Oh, that's pretty slick. That's cut out like that for the Aerolite motors. Do I have an extra Aerolite motor floating around? I think I do. Do I have... I know I bought... Yeah, I do. Oh man, I just want to see what that looks like when it drops down in there. Plus I want to confirm that that's what it is. Let's take a quick look. Where'd that arm go? Not quite. Really? Is there another motor that has this kind of a base? Huh. Okay. I guess they just cut that out as a relief, but it reminded me of the Aerolite base. Yeah, look, the Aerolite base is way too big for that. But yeah, I guess they just cut that out to save a little bit of weight. There doesn't really need to be much strength in there typically. Usually the brakes are going to happen over here or there or out there. So that's pretty cool. A little piece of TPU. This is a little chin bumper guy. And then we've got some hardware, and this arm looks like 5 millimeters thick. So that's really nice. And then, like I said, with this aluminum sandwich plate here, the arm is going to slot right on in there. Man, those are some serious tolerances. Oh yeah, man, that fits in there really tight. Jeez. Okay, you might actually need the you might actually need to put the screws in here to pull this thing down. Wow, that is not going to move when that's in there. Very cool. Okay. This is a really nice looking frame. Axis, great job. FPV Crate, how on earth did you squeeze an entire frame into your into the budget for this month? That's pretty impressive. All right, cool. So let me put some of this away here, and then we will dive into the sub 250 box. Again, here's the rest of the TPU in a separate bag for this guy. That goes in there. These guys go, I think this went, and then maybe this goes here. Something like that, and then something like that. And then we'll just throw these guys up on top here. And all is right with the world. Wow, okay. Really legit looking 5-inch frame here. Really nice. Really nice stuff in this box. All right. Let's dig into the sub 250 box here, and we're gonna put a frame together. We've got a bunch of these ducted 90 millimeter gem fan props. 90 millimeters is 3.5 inch, and then these are the 5 blades. These gem fan 5 blades are the quietest and most powerful and best performing of the Cinewhoop props. I've tested all of them. I've tested the 8 blades, the 6 blades, the 5 blades, the 3 blades, and yeah, the Gem Fan 5 blades come out on top every single time that I compare them. And yeah, these are 3.5 inch, so anybody that's got like a Cinelog 35 is gonna love this. And I'm gonna guess that the frame that's in here uses these props, because these are a pretty specific prop. But let's take a look. What else do we have in here? We've got the small sub 250 sticker sheet. I didn't show you guys the sticker sheet in nice detail. Some winter vibes going on. And we've got the little card with coupon codes on it, so I can't show that. HGLRC Veyron 35 CR pusher frame. Interesting little, it's like a gift bag. It comes in like a little, you know, could actually be useful. You throw a bunch of sets of props in here. I'm gonna save this. I'm not a hoarder, I swear. Look at this. Okay, so we've got a lot of stuff in here. I think it looks like more than it actually is because there's a whole bunch of foam and then there's the ducts in here. Let's bust it out and see what's going on. All right, so that is everything. So whole bunch of foam. Looks like, is it different thicknesses or is it just different colors for funsies? I think it's, yeah, it's just different colors. Cool. So yellow, gray, and black, whatever you prefer. And then we've got a bag of stuff. Oh, and there's some instructions here. Okay. And then we've got some plastic ducts, and they have like a little lip on them here for the foam to kind of sneak in. That's pretty nice. That's slick. I like that. All right, so let's get these. These actually aren't ducts. These are guards. When they're really thin like this, they're considered prop guards. And then you guys know what ducts look like and or are. So we've got a bunch of pieces of carbon here. What do we got going on? We've got, I guess, top plate, bottom plate, sandwich plate, or, although this looks very similar. What's the difference here? This one has press nuts installed in it, and so there's a slight difference up front here. They're very, very similar. Wonder what this is. I wonder what this yellow is. I guess it's just spray paint. I'm sure it's not. I mean, I'm not sure, but I have a feeling it's not. What's the word I'm looking for? Powder coating. It's not powder coating. Okay, so in this other bag, there's a whole bunch of little adhesive strips here for the foam. All right, so we got those. And so I'm going to put those back here with the little foamy guys. Here's the assembly guide. We're going to leave that opened for a minute. Oh, it's a double, the top plate is a double stack. Wow. Okay. That's wild. I've never seen that before. So these are going to sit, I think these are going to sit just like this, actually. Yeah, okay. All right, that's interesting. So we've got a bag with some TPU. Let's take a look at this. And so we've got a full-size GoPro print here. We've got, this appears to be a DJI camera protector ring. Another one, it looks like, for a different size lens. This is more than likely a camera mount, although there's little tiny holes in it. Not totally sure what that is, to be honest. And then this is probably one of those mounts for like a naked GoPro, would be my guess. And finally, this is an antenna and SMA mount for the rear of this thing. So we've got a whole bunch of little bags of hardware. Looks like it's all M2. That's interesting. We've got some stickers, HGLRC Aeolus, and some little pictures of rigs and Zeus and all kinds of stuff there. And then we've got another little batch of hardware. And now this is all the non-M2 stuff. Okay. A couple of battery straps here. Ooh, they're really nice. They're that really nice soft pleather. All right. Little imitation grip here for a battery pad. And then this is a big old piece of foam. I wonder what this is for. I can't say that I've ever seen a chunk of foam like that that's not. Oh, well, okay. So it's for this. Oh, this is a landing pad, isn't it? Yeah, this just sticks to this bottom plate here. All right, that's pretty cool. And then we've got a couple little antenna tubes with little red jib jabs on them. That's the technical term. So let's take a look at this thing. I'm going to use the instructions here off to the side of the camera. And let's see if we can figure out how to piece this thing together. All right, so we've got two top plates. We've got a top plate and a mid plate. I'm gonna guess that the top plate is, I'm gonna guess that it's yellow. But I'm looking to see if there's any. Okay, so I can see here the top plate is missing a hole in the middle. Okay, no, so it's supposed to go like this. Okay, so they want it to go this way. Right? Because the top plate has a solid center and then the mid plate does not. Alright, gotcha. So let's dig into this hardware and we'll see if what we can do here in terms of throwing this thing together. So I'm not gonna like put any electronics or motors or anything like that. I just want to piece this frame together. FPV Crate asked me to do a quick assembly of this, and I said that I would gladly do that for them. So that's what we're going to be working on here for a little bit. Just move this stuff out of the way. All right, so we've got, I'm going to rip this all open and just kind of lay it out here on the bench. Hold on. If I put it on this side, and put it over here on this side. Can you guys see it if I put it there? Nope. Let me move it over a little bit. Can you guys see that? Nope, not yet. Not yet. There we go. Is this camera zoomed all the way out? Hold on. And yeah, we're good. Okay. So we've got these guys, and then we've got one, just one. It's looking like it's maybe a little bit shorter. Yep, a little bit shorter. Put that there. I need something to throw all this garbage in. Here we go. Okay, so then we've got a bunch of M2. This is M2 by 8. Oh, these bags are labeled. That's really nice. So I'm gonna rip these bags open, and leave the bag because that's nice that it says like M2 by 18 on it. So I'm gonna stop just haphazardly throwing these bags away. Okay, we've got two M2 by 12s. We've got, oh, not all the bags are labeled. Okay, so this one's not labeled. Let me put this one out here. And actually, I think it's gonna be impossible for me to put these so that you guys can see them. So I'm just gonna put them off on my left so that I can just kind of grab them and go. All right, this one is labeled M2 by 7. All right, so I am gonna leave that bag here. And then we've got, this bag is not labeled, but these, my guess would be these are like M2 by 5s, they look like, maybe M2 by 6. And so I'm just gonna dump those out over here. These might actually be no, there's not enough in there to be motor screws. So let's put these here, and then this little bag is not labeled either, but these appear to be M2 by like 4s would be my guess. Okay. So I got a couple of little piles of screws off on my left now. Let's take a look at this other little bundle of bags here. And okay, here we go. So we've got a huge, this is probably for one of the mounts would be my guess. Big old Allen screw bolt. I'm gonna guess that that's for like this mount, for example, maybe. Yeah, it's the yeah. So this is for the GoPro mount. Okay, that's cool. And what else we got here? Big old nut. I think that's also for the GoPro mount. Don't let me down, chat. I said big old nut. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so we've got a complete GoPro mount. Look at us go. There we are. All right, so that's good. What else? Couple of standoffs. These look to be... Oh, these are M2 standoffs. That's different. Okay, so these are M2 by 28 standoffs. And then we've got a couple of M2 nuts here. Get those out. Okay. All right, and then we've got 4 M3 nuts. Okay, there we go. Oh, nope, yeah, that'll work. All right, actually there's 5 in there. That's an awkward number, but I'm sure it'll make sense in a minute. Then we've got a couple of little tiny M2 by 8 standoffs. That's a pretty specific size, okay. Put those over here. And last but not least, we've got some rubber grommets and some rubber O-rings. My guess is going to be that these are for stack mounting. I assume that they want you to use the O-rings as spacers, and then the grommets for, I guess, maybe an AIO, although I would never do an AIO. I'm not a fan of all-in-one boards. So we've got all of our hardware laid out here. Let's put this thing together. So I'm going to be leaning to the left and looking at the instructions here a lot, because there's a lot going on with this frame. Let me just start kind of visualizing this a little bit. Man, it is pouring out here in Atlanta, Georgia. Okay, so I understand these press nuts now. These press nuts are here for the different mounts, all right? So we've got the main GoPro mount, or you could also use this, what I believe to be like a naked GoPro mount. So these guys go up in the front here, and the rear holes for these mounts, there are press nuts for on the bottom, which is really slick. That's really, really nice. So that's what this is for. I guess I might as well throw a couple of screws in there. So it's screw in the rear there, it's screw number 17, and that's an M2 by 9. So M2 by 7. So what did I say, 17? So there's 4 M2 by 9, so that would be these. All right, so these 4 M2 by 9s are going to go in here real quick. This is going to sandwich these two plates together, which I don't know if that's a good idea to do that this early, but we're going to do it anyway. So, all right, so we're going to throw those through there, M2 by 9s, crank these down, and we've got a GoPro mount just like that. All right. And then up in the front of this GoPro mount, they're wanting us to use number 16, which is an M2 by 12 screw. And that's going to jack into a couple of these standoffs here. So that's going to go into part number 6, which is the long standoff. All right, cool. So let's get these, let's put these aside. These are actually going to be used on this rear TPU piece. So what did I say? Part number 16, which is M2 by 12. Where's the M2 by 12? Here it is. Okay, so we've got a couple of M2 by 12s here. Let's get these guys out, and we will start putting standoffs on this thing. All right, so there we go. These guys are going to go down through the front of this GoPro mount here, and then they're going to go into these big old long standoffs. Okay. And hold on, before I get too far, I can see that part number 7 is this short column. Where's that little short column go? It kind of looks like it goes through this. Kind of looks like it goes through this hole. I think part number 3 is an M2 by 7. Looks like that goes in the middle. Okay, so I have to pull this mount off. I did this slightly out of order here. So let's just fix this real quick. Okay, so that's screw number 3 is going to go in the middle here. Screw number 3 is an M2x7. All right, so we're going to send an M2x7 down the middle here. You got to do that first. M2x7 is right over here. That's one of the bags that's labeled. So we're just going to use one of these. All right. So we're going to put that guy down through the middle here. And then it is going to link up with part number 7, which is an M2x8 aluminum collar. So there we have it. Okay. Cool. So that looks like that. See it? There we go. All right, so that was what we needed to do first. Oh yeah, look, they put a little indentation in the GoPro mount here to cover up that screw. All right, that's pretty slick. Let's make sure that this thing is cranked down though, because it is going to be kind of like, you know, fully obscured. It's easy to take the GoPro mount off, but you know, might as well just give this a little turn. Okay, cool. So now back to, nope, that's not the mount that I want to use. I want to use this mount. Good. So here we go. We're going to send these guys down. Sorry, I'm kind of ignoring you, chat. I had a feeling that this might take some time, and so I just want to blast through this. And FPV Crate is going to chop this up and use it as installation instructions. So I want to try to get through this as smoothly as possible. Typically when I start reading chat, I get all excited and half an hour goes by because the chat here on CiottiFPV is filled with amazingly smart and talented folks. Okay, so that's how the front end goes together. Now we're going to drop this into the rear, and this is the spot that uses the additional through holes here in the back, and these M2x9, I believe they are. So, but we're using this center hole one more time. So it's screw number 3, which is again the M2x7. So I have one more of those. Here it is, M2x7. So this needs to go in first because it's going to get covered up by the TPU. So M2x7 is going to go down through here. And then I assume that we're going to use another one of the little standoffs. No, we're going to use a big standoff. Part number 7. Okay, no, it is a short one. Part number 7 is another one of these little short standoffs. Oh, the long standoffs are all gone. Okay, so a little short standoff here. And now we've got that all set. All right, see that? Great. So now we're going to put this little TPU mount on here, and we're going to drive a couple of screws home into the press nuts. So this is our antenna base, and the screws are number 17, which is M2x9, and that's these guys. So the other 2 M2x9 screws are going to go in here. Whoops. Let's get that going. All right. Try my best not to curse too. Which is easier said than done for me. Okay. There it goes. All right, cool. In a second, that'll get to the press nut that's in the yellow carbon fiber layer, and there it is. All right, great. There's one. Here's the other. Okay, perfect. So now we've got our little TPU antenna base locked in here. Oh, nope, that's not going in. Come on. Come on, little buddy. Get in there. I think that should be it. Nope. What's going on? more than likely user error is what's going on. Yeah, okay. It's just got to push a little bit harder on it to get it to go through the hole. There it is. Yep, that's it. All right, cool. So we'll send that guy home. And it looks like our top plate is almost all the way assembled. There's some extra holes for the stack, but we're not putting electronics in this here today. We're just gonna do a dry assembly of the frame. Okay, there it is. All right, so we got some TPU on there. Things are starting to come together. So now we've got, yeah, so I was right about these guys. They are camera mounts, so you're just going to chop and chop. And these guys are going to go on these big long standoffs in the front here. And you want to put them, it looks like they want you to put them forward so that you can put the camera out in front of the frame, which should be totally fine because there are going to be the big old prop guards in the way to prevent the camera from smacking into stuff. So a lot of times these, I actually really like when these camera mounts are really hard to put on because it means that they're not going to move around once they're in there. So yeah, there we go. Let me just push this against the desk here, off camera a little bit. Come on. Well, you guys get the picture. I'm not putting a camera in here, so I don't even really need to put these on. But yeah, that's how they go on. You'll see it in the little picture. They're gonna go like that, so that they face forward. They fit on there really tight, which again I really do like. It's worth the fighting and cursing and screaming for them to not come off of there. So we're just gonna keep going here. What is next? We've got, okay, so it looks like now we get into these prop guards. Oh yeah, look at that. Okay, so the guards have a couple of holes in them here, and it looks like that's what then links up with this carbon fiber base plate, right? So yeah, I'm assuming it goes like that. Yeah, screw there, and then that sits like that. And now when you put motors in here, the motors are going to hold this prop guard down. I don't have a set of motors, so maybe I'll just put this together and then, yeah. I think that's the only way that I'm going to be able to hold this thing together without using motors. I'm just taking a quick look at the assembly guide over here off camera. Aluminum column. So these M2x18s, these are more than likely for the stack mount. So this is screw number 2. Yeah, so this is for mounting your stack. And okay, interesting design. The motors don't necessarily become structural, but it's kind of cool how the motors hold everything together. This is kind of slick, right? So this thing is gonna break right in half. Cool. Let's. I'm gonna show you guys what's going on here. Let's start getting these guys put together. This will make way more sense in a minute. It's easy for me to visualize this because I have the installation instructions in front of me. So screw number 4 is M2x5, and there's 10 of them. So that's going to be this little packet here. So let's get these guys out. And we're just going to screw these ducts down to, or guards rather, down to the to this carbon fiber base plate, and that's pretty much it. That's pretty much going to be the end of the assembly because of the fact that I'm not fully building this thing. But we'll be able to kind of see the way that it kind of all slots together once this is a little bit more assembled. So want to make sure that the motor is pointing in this way, and then it screws like this, and it looks like it just screws into the molded plastic. Yeah, it does. And it really, yeah, they molded these holes really nice, so it's kind of threading as it goes through. Okay. And let's see how, oh yeah, wow. Oh yeah, you could really crank on that too to get it nice and tight. All right, so let's throw these things on, and then I'll kind of show you how it would go together once you had motors in it. The motors are going to literally hold this thing together, the top to the bottom. Really interesting design. I've never seen anything like this before. Kind of slick, if I'm honest. All right, so then we got to make sure for this duct, yeah, it's got to be like that. Okay. And so this is going to be pretty similar to the GepRC Cinelog 35, which Joshua Bardwell actually had his version of sent to me before him, so I got to fly it around a little bit and kind of check it out. And it's really, they fly shockingly well. With these guards instead of big tall ducts, they fly much more like an actual freestyle rig that we're used to, but a little bit slower. The 3.5 inch props on something like a 2004 motor, for example, are going to give you plenty of power for even a full-size GoPro, which is really nice. Or you can throw a naked GoPro in there, of course. Let me make sure that I'm not screwing these on backwards. Nope, I'm good. Yeah, plate goes on the bottom. Okay, so that's important. Yeah, I don't think you can... Can you do it the wrong way? You probably can. You could probably accidentally put this plate on the other side of the duct, so don't do that. Know what I mean? There's no reason to do that. Yeah, you want the carbon fiber plate here, and then the guards go on the bottom, like that. I think you can do that wrong. I'm sure somebody already has. But, you know, it's just a couple screws to fix that. All right, cool. So let's get this. Whoops. Let's get this down through here. And, all right, great. Okay. There we go. And what's nice is, like, these screws are so far apart, you can kind of, like, just crank these down individually. You don't have to leave them loose and then go back and double the work up. All right. So then we got this guy here. There it is. The threads in these molded guards are really nice. They're actually threaded now that I look at it a little bit more closely. No, they're not. No, they're not. No, they're not. They're not threaded. But these screws thread in there really nice and they kind of tap their own threads. All right, and then last one here. We've got it going right on in there. What you want to remember is that this is, you know, this looks like we're building the quad right now, but this is upside down. This is going to sit with this carbon fiber base plate against the ground. So that's how you're going to hopefully remember to put this together properly. This would be very easy to build upside down by accident. All right, and here we go. Okay. So that is now all put together. So it's gonna sit like that. This is down, you know, it's gonna sit like this. And then we've got this big old piece of foam here, which is a dead giveaway, because this is your landing foam, so that you don't scratch the roof of the car that you land on, for example. So we'll just pop these guys out real quick, and well, we can just leave it like that, that's fine. And there we go. Alright, so that piece of foam sits there like that. I'm just gonna dig these little guys out real quick. There we go. That opens up the little holes for your, looks like you've got another 25 by 25 and 20 by 20 setup here. In my opinion, you should build this with 2020. I mean, in my opinion, you should build everything with 2020. AIOs are still super problematic. Having the ESC on the same ground plane as the flight controller with the gyro on it is just not the best idea. And I put this foam on sideways by accident. There's a little arrow in the foam here, so to speak, and then that should line up with that. I already pushed it on really hard. That's fine, no big deal. Not the end of the world there. Okay, so now it sits down on that foam really nicely, and then this piece, so I guess that points forward, right? I assume. Let's see. Taking a look over here on my left at the installation instructions. It's hard to see in there, but I assume that this little arrow points forward. Does it matter? Is there anything that's... It does matter. There's a hole here, and there's a hole up there. Oh, those are going to link up with these little small guys. Or are they going to link up with the big long guys? I think they're supposed to link up with the big long guys. Okay, so I think the installation instructions have something backwards. Yeah, so the installation instructions have these short and these long standoffs switched. So let's fix that. You don't want these long standoffs on the front. You want them where these short ones are. So let's just reverse these real quick like. I thought this looked kind of weird. Unfortunately, I have to take this mount all the way off because there's that screw hidden underneath it. But no big deal. It's a quick fix. Alright, there we go. Pop this GoPro mount off, and then... Alright, so we're going to kick this screw out, and then we're just going to swap it with the big long M2 by, what is it, 28? Yeah, M2 by 28 standoff. There we go. And then in the rear, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take this little short standoff. Again, that is a legit misprint in the directions there, but you know, no big deal. Okay, so there we go with that. So now I understand these little short guys. This is kind of slick. This is a cool little set. There's a bunch of stuff in this that I haven't really seen before in frame design, which is kind of interesting. So I'll show you something kind of cool here. They're hanging the camera off these little short standoffs. Kind of neat. So now we've got these little tiny M2 by 8mm standoffs, which just happen to be about the same length as these TPU camera mounts. So these little short fellas go here. And so the frame is not held together by the motors. I was wrong about that. Although the motors are going to provide a bunch of strength for this thing once they're bolted on. The way that I'm going to assemble it here without motors, it's not going to be super strong. So the motors are kind of like a structural element. So yeah, these tiny little guys that are going to be upside down. This is, you know, this is up. The camera mounts are just going to hang right on here. This is pretty cool. So yeah, you're just going to force these guys on. Maybe I'll have better luck forcing it on the little short guy here. Still really tight though. And yeah, I'm not gonna fight with it, but those go in there. Oh, I'm putting it on the wrong side. I see. One side of it is more open than the. There we go. Okay. Yeah, one side of these guys is nice and opened. The other side is very small. So you could probably force the small side over, but don't. Do it the right way. And there we go. Camera's going to sit right in there. That is very different. I've never seen a setup like that. So now this guy is down. So that explains these two holes here, up in the front and the back. There aren't holes on this side. They're going to connect with these guys here. So arrow forward, that sits like that. And then we pop it upside down here, and we're going to send a couple screws home here. And they want us to use these same screws. Were there some extras? What are they? It's screw number 4, which is M2 by 5. Although it also says M2 by 6 cup head screw. That's interesting. Let's see. This is an M2 by 5. Let me see how far that goes through. Oh yeah, that's plenty. That's plenty of thread engagement on that. Alright, so there's the front, there's the back. So we're just going to line this guy up here. And all set. Alright, there's one, and here's the other. Looks like they gave some extra screws. That's pretty cool. And so there we go. That's how the top and bottom plates are secured. And then, like I said, so that right now, without any motors on here, there's a little bit of a gap. See that? Right? So there's a little, but once these motors are on here, that's going to really solidly connect these guards to the carbon fiber top plate. I mean, that's pretty much it. This little guy is going to go somewhere up here, usually. I don't really know where this... Oh, does it go in the back here? Yeah, look at that. I think it goes in the back there. Looks like there's a little... it looks like a little slot for it, right? Don't quote me on that. And then, yeah, they just gave a whole bunch of extra hardware for other mounting. So you can either hang your 20 by 20 or 25 by 25 and a half off the top, or you can also mount them to the bottom. Or I guess what you could do is like hang an AIO or a 20 by 20 stack from the top, and then on the bottom you could mount your Vista if you were going to do digital on this. And that's pretty much it. They give you a couple little antenna tubes, which are going to go right in here. I'm not going to mess with that, but yeah, they go in there. And then your SMA would come out through there. And yeah, they gave a whole bunch of extra hardware. M2 by 18 for mounting. Some M3 hardware for mounting. It looks like the 20 by 20 holes are set up for M3. 5 of these M3 prop nuts for your mounting here. 4 of the M2 lock nuts. I said prop nuts a minute ago. I meant to say lock nuts. And then, yeah, just some extra, an extra short M3 here. What is this? So this is an M3 by... Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what this is for. Maybe just an extra. But yeah, that's how it all pieces together. It's surprisingly, like, stout without the guards connected to the arms. So here's a really cool thing about this frame, right? If you need to pull this thing apart, you're just going to drop your motors. So to get this thing apart, to get access to it, you're going to kick all 4 motors off. I'm trying to think, is there a way to pull this thing apart Was that? Yes. Okay. So there's two different ways to pull this thing apart. You can either pull all 4 motors off, flip it over, and then remove this screw and this screw that are on those big long standoffs, right? And then the whole 2 top and bottom will come apart. Or you can just pull this carbon fiber base plate off if you take off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 screws. I would suggest, so since these screws are going into plastic, I would suggest not pulling them unless you absolutely have to. So I think the best way to get this thing apart once you need to work on it would be to drop the motors and then flip it over and take out these 2 standoff screws. So for me, it's easy to do because I don't have motors in here. So when you need to pull this thing apart to work on it, you want to pull that screw, you want to pull this screw, and then the whole thing's going to come apart like that. Again, you're going to have pulled the motors off. But yeah, that's a pretty interesting way to hold that thing together. Very cool. Cool frame design. Okay, HGLRC. And this is wild, man. This is a lot of carbon up here. This top plate is going to be incredibly strong, which is going to really do a good job at sucking up all the vibrations coming through the motors. Let's get a weight on this real quick, and then I'm going to wrap this up, I think. Hold on, let me go grab a scale. Here it is. This isn't like a calibrated scale or anything like that, but it'll give you some idea. Might as well weigh them separately, I guess. And what do we got here? So the top plate with all the TPU is 58.5, and then the ducts and the bottom plate 54.1. So all said and done, we're looking at, I can't do the math, 112.5 grams, 112.5. With a 3.5-inch prop, it's going to move that around absolutely no problem. Cool frame. Yeah, 3.5-inch props. I would suggest a 2004 motor with this. I would also suggest 4S. With micros, there's really no benefit to going up to 6S. 5-inch freestyle, absolutely. A lot of benefit to going up to 6S. But yeah, smaller motors, smaller propellers, it's just there's not enough amps being pulled to benefit from going up to 6S. And there's a lot of problems that come from going up to 6S. AIOs, it puts a lot more stress on the ESCs. The AIO is not going to like it. It's going to blow an AIO up a lot sooner. And then if you build this the way I think you should, which is with a 20x20 stack, individual 20x20 ESC, individual 20x20 flight controller, if you're using one of the smaller, less expensive 20x20 ESCs, 6S is going to be really, really hard on it. So yeah, run 4S. I would say like a couple of FPV crates ago, actually, there were, hey, they're right over here. These would be perfect for this build, actually. These are 2004 4,000 kV flash hobby motors. These would be really, really nice on this. You could run it on 4S, and if it's got too much power, all you got to do is jump into the PID tab in Betaflight 4.2 or 4.3 and bring the motor limiting down. 4,000 kV on 4S with a 3.5-inch prop might be a little too much, so I would start off at like 80% motor limiting with a build like this on these particular motors, and yeah, should be a rockin' little build. Good job, HGLRC. I'm digging this. Good job, FPV Crate, too, for getting this into a box. This is yeah, wow, very, very cool. My name's Aaron Ciotti, CiottiFPV.com if you want to support me on this wild FPV journey. Streams Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Come see me. Subscribe to the channel, all the good things. And FPV Crate, thanks again for sending this over. Very, very cool of you. Couple of great crates for February 2022. see you guys on Friday. Yeah, tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. See you then.